What's happening, guys? And welcome back to the channel. And on the back of the weekend 7-0 victory, Premier League action is put to bed for another week, and the Carabao Cup takes centre stage with Chelsea taking on Southampton at Stamford Bridge tomorrow night. George, how much of a priority do you feel the Carabao Cup is this season? Obviously, you know, it's not going to be as important as perhaps the League or the Champions League, but do you think it's important that we kind of take this seriously and perhaps try and win it? You know, because we've seen with Jose Mourinho in the past, you know, we've taken this trophy seriously and it can lead on to a further success. So where do you stand with the Carabao Cup?
It's one of those you always keep your eye on until you get to the later stage. And I think we're certainly capable of doing so. We've touched on it many times on the channel about having one of the best squads. They call it the Man City Cup now, don't they? And they're going to be, again, the ones to beat because they've just got such an array of talent that they could play. You know, they could play a B or C strength team and probably cruise all the way to the last four. But I think Chelsea are the same. I mean, we almost got knocked out in the last round, went all the way to penalties against Aston Villa. But again, I think we've got the capabilities with the players we've got to give players a rest and still have enough firepower to get through these sort of games. And you're right, mate. I think you've got to take every competition seriously, and Thomas Tuchel will. We understand that there needs to be a balance where we can't be playing a full strength side with the fixture congestion, but it's always one that I've actually quite enjoyed. I mean, we went to a final a few years ago, and you touched on there. I mean, some of the most important moments of our history have come from, you know, winning these domestic cups. I think they do bode well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and I just want to see Chelsea play with a bit of freedom tomorrow and have some, you know, players getting some minutes. And yeah, I think we shouldn't have any trouble. Yeah,
I mean, you know, we've scored 11 goals in the last 2 games at Stamford Bridge, so it'd be great to add a few more into the mix. But George, in terms of the lineup, obviously we've got Lukaku and Werner out. There's not Christian Pulisic is kind of a little bit touch and go, probably won't feature. There's not really a lot of room for rotation in that front three. I mean, are you expecting Havertz, Mount and Hudson-Odoi to continue in the front three, or do you think that Hakim Ziyech could potentially be given another opportunity from the start?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. You're right. I don't think there's much room for a change in the front three. I think the only one, like you said, you could say is Hakim Ziyech. Maybe he comes on. I'd expect players like Ross Barkley, Loftus-Cheek, Kepa, all to feature. Chalobah will probably come in. Alonso. Trying to think of other players. I mean, it'd be interesting if we get Saul Miguez, if he gets a bit of game time tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to it. I think we've got an amazing squad. We've both said it countless times on the show that we actually think that this is one of the best Chelsea squads we've had, arguably better than Mourinho's first time round in terms of quality and numbers. I think even in some of those Mourinho squad ones were a bit passengers sometimes, even though we had probably more iconic individual talents. I'd actually like to see Hakim Ziyech play tomorrow. He came on for a little bit, didn't he, against Norwich? But other than that, mate, certainly the front three. I don't know where else we go unless we go further down, into the reserves. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I can't see if there's going to be a change. I think that would be the only change there. In terms of the back line, George, you know, the fullbacks have been doing really well recently. Reece James and Ben Chilwell. Do you think that Marcos Alonso could be given an opportunity here, or do you think, you know, Chilwell's on such a good run that you just kind of want to keep playing and keep the momentum rolling? I'd find that a difficult decision to make, because when a player's banging form, all you want to do is just carry on playing.
Yeah, but I think at the same token, we need to, as much as we don't want to, with the League Cup and not take it seriously, I think we need to make sure that we use the squad efficiently, particularly when we've got 2 key players that have got injured. I don't think Thomas Tuchel is going to make the same mistake twice by going as strong in a game where he doesn't necessarily need to. I mean, Southampton, you know, don't get me wrong, they've got some great players as well, and they can cause trouble. I mean, Aston Villa caused us trouble in the first round. So, I get what you're saying. I know, you know, particularly when you're scoring goals and you're playing well, but could you imagine if, you know, Ben Chilwell gets injured, or, you know, someone gets sent off, or, you know, I just think Alonso's more than capable of doing a job at left back. Need some minutes, keep him fresh, and, you know, try and rest the players, you know, like Silva, like Rudiger, players that we don't necessarily need to walk out tomorrow.
Yeah, no, 100%. And in terms of the midfield, obviously N'Golo Kante is available for selection tomorrow evening. He missed the game at the weekend with some muscle tightness, just a precautionary measure taken there for him to miss that game. Do you think that we might see him get some minutes, or do you think maybe just save him for Newcastle away at the weekend? I mean, I'd love to see Ruben Loftus-Cheek back in the lineup from the start. I think, so in the previous video, I thought it was very harsh on him that he didn't start either of the games against Malmo or Norwich. I mean, are you expecting him to be restored to the starting lineup?
I think Kante will be rested. I think Kante, I don't think he'll take a risk. I still think it's a bit early for him to come back. I would expect Loftus-Cheek to start tomorrow. I agree. I share your thoughts. I'd love him to start tomorrow. I think he deserved it. I think he, again, was bang unlucky not to feature in either Malmo and came on a little bit against Norwich, but was unlucky not to start that game, actually. So, yeah, Loftus-Cheek is definitely one that I'd like to see tomorrow night. But I think for Kante, again, I don't think it's necessary to play him unless he just wants to give him a few minutes just to get a feel for it before Newcastle, because I'm sure he'll be back in the starting lineup if ready against Newcastle away. And
George, just a quick word on Southampton. Obviously, you know, they gave us quite a tough game in the league a few weeks ago. They got it back to 1-1, and we kind of got a couple of goals in the last sort of 5 or so minutes after the Ward-Prowse red card. But it was a difficult game. Can you envisage them causing us a few problems again tomorrow?
I mean, they're more than capable. They've done it before at Stamford Bridge as well. I remember my brother went to a game a few years ago and they beat us 2 or 3-1 at home, and they have had some decent results at Stamford Bridge in recent years. So they're a good footballing side. I think at the moment, just because of where we're at, I think we have the confidence to roll them over. But again, it really does depend on the lineup and how strong Thomas Tuchel goes. And equally how strong Southampton go, because this you always feel for the, no disrespect, the kind of mid-table lower end clubs, that this is a real big opportunity for them and that they should go full strength, but it doesn't always appear to be that way either. Sometimes that they feel it's imperative to keep everyone fresh for the league. So again, players like Theo Walcott, Ward-Prowse, are they going to play those players? I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see, but they've definitely got, as you said, they've got that capability in their locker to potentially cause us a few issues if we're a little bit off it. Obviously, we're going to both be at the game tomorrow night, mate. So what are you thinking? Get your little score prediction from you before we wrap up.
Ooh. I'm going to go with 4-1 to the Blues. 4-1. I think it's going to be another big one.
Carrying on with another bucket load of goals there. I mean, that would be nice to see. For myself, I think as long as it doesn't go to a penalty shootout, I don't think I could take another penalty shootout. I'm going to be slightly more reserved. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. I think we might let one in, but we've definitely got more than enough firepower. But yeah, you know, the Carabao Cup I think is really important, and we should be definitely aiming to win it. We want to win as many trophies as possible. So we've got to take it seriously. And you know, with the semi-final being one leg as well now this season, if we win tomorrow night, you're only a couple games away from Wembley, so it comes around pretty quickly. So I think we've got to take it seriously and win every trophy possible, really. But yeah, that's myself and George's thoughts on the Carabao Cup tie tomorrow evening. As always, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one.